Hello, my beautiful friends. It's Amanda here, and today we're catching up with ColourPop. They have some new-ish releases, and I felt like these two drops really worked well in a video together because what we're seeing are some reformulations and a couple of new colors of existing products. All of these are currently available on the ColourPop site, and then some select shades you can find at Target and or Ulta. There are quite a few re-promoted shades, so I'm going to point out which things are re-promoted, which things are new. The main thing to focus on here is the new formulas. So color sticks are no more. Now we have shadow sticks. These do claim to be all new colors, although I'm sure you could find some very, very similar adjacent dupable shades in your existing color sticks, but these do say that they have a new formula that is creamier with more intense color payoff so that they should be easier to apply. And for the BFF Creme Gel Liners, this is a long time product for ColourPop, but it also has a formula makeover. They're now saying that it's completely waterproof with 18 hours of wear, and these are mostly re-promoted shades, but there are 5 new colors in the cream gel liners. Now, here's the deal. I'm sure that this is the type of video where a lot of people are really going to be wanting a demo, a wear test, an application, tutorial, all that stuff. I am completely unable to do that right now. For the last few days, I've had a pretty bad allergic reaction on one of my eyelids, and I am not able to wear any makeup. I am not putting anything on my eyelid, and most especially these types of products, these long-wearing waterproof products that do take a little bit more work to remove, would just be absolutely the wrong choice for me. So I'm actually going to talk a little bit more about my procedure when I have an eye allergic reaction at the end of the video. If you think that would be helpful information or just something you want to learn more about in case you have some sort of issue in the future, I'm going to put that information at the end of the video. I just want to clarify, it wasn't caused by these products. I haven't used these products in the time frame that this allergic reaction happened. And I don't think it was caused by any makeup products whatsoever. It's something separate, in my opinion, in my unprofessional opinion. But like I said, I'll get more into that later. I don't want to take up this review video talking about that, but I do think it's important to let you know why I'm not wear testing these, why I'm not demoing them, because I can't, because health. So let's get into it. Just a quick reminder, if you decide to purchase any of these products on the ColourPop site, you can use my affiliate code. It's just my first name, Amanda, and that will save you 10% on most things. Keep an eye out for things like sets, vaults, or if there's an existing sale. That might not be your best deal, and I would much rather you get the best deal than to use my code. Just keep an eye on your cart totals, and let's get into the products. I want to start with these new shadow sticks. These are priced at $8 a piece. They have some new packaging with this little window, no doubt because they're being sold in stores now. That way you can see through the little cutout in the cardboard box to see what color you're grabbing, which is great. They also have little shade name stickers on top, and these are color coordinated for the most part. Obviously, they're not an exact match to the color inside, but it is worth noting that these outer plastic packaging is indicative of the finish. So the matte shades are just this plain plastic outer, and then the metallic shades have this sparkly sort of outer packaging. These are a twist up type of product. You just twist the top and it dispenses out. And then on the bottom, if you just pull off, there is a little sharpener if you like a more precision tip on your shadow sticks. You can use this handy dandy built-in sharpener. Now I'm going to show you some live swatches of these because I want you to see what the consistency looks like going onto the skin. And since I can't actually do that on my eye, this was the best, closest thing that I could come up with for you. A few things of note that I want to mention, particularly color-wise, there are not a lot of matte shades in these shadow sticks. Out of the 16 new shades that they've released, only 4 are mattes, and all 4 of those matte shades are very neutrals. So I do think that we can plan to see a shade expansion of this product in the future, and hopefully we'll get a collection of some really exciting colorful matte shades. This whole collection in general does lean more towards the neutrals, and that's not really surprising. I do think that's the bread and butter for most cosmetic companies, and ColourPop's no exception to that, especially now that they've expanded into these really mainstream retailers like Ulta and Target. The majority of those customers are probably most likely to reach for and purchase more of those comfortable neutral type of shades and then do some experimental pops of color every now and then. So while I personally would love to see this color story expanded in with some more vivid shades, especially some vivid mattes, I think that will happen in the future. But for now, especially as they're testing the waters with a new product, new formula launch, it makes sense to me. And, I think they're going to get a lot of good mileage out of the neutrals that they chose. Personally, I am really drawn towards a lot of the colorful shades. I love the orangey one that looks more like an peachy gold duochrome. I really like the purple, of course, this Hey Bestie shade. I love a purple. And this Surf Sesh shade, this really rich green color, of course I'm drawn to. And I have to tell you, it is the perfect base for the shade Lush from my Flora Story collaboration with Odin's Eye. I'm going to show you what I mean. These shades pair so perfectly together. I just put a little bit of Lush on my finger and then put it on top, and the way that these two meld together and basically form like a super Lush, because Lush has some blue and silver sparkles in it, it just turns up the opacity and the vivid green undertone. I really like that. I just sort of threw that in as a fun little extra. Now, let's move on to talking about the BFF Creme Gel Liners. These are a classic favorite ColourPop product, and for good reason. I'm somebody that doesn't really wear a lot of eyeliner, and if I'm reaching for an eyeliner, it's typically 99.9% of the time going to be a BFF Creme Gel Liner. These are priced at $7 each. They have a slightly updated packaging, but it's really within the normal theme, that little doodle kind of theme that they've always had. These are a twist up product. They do not need to be sharpened. And I didn't do live swatches for these, mainly because these are pretty difficult to remove, and I just kept losing focus on my camera. And then I was going back and trying to wipe it off, and then I was scrubbing my arm because these are waterproof, so they're a little bit more difficult to remove even with a makeup remover. So that's why you're just seeing the swatches. My apologies. But these do feel very much like the beloved BFF Creme Gel Liners of the past. They just have a longer wear time. Whereas I noticed a big difference with the smoothness and the opacity of the shadow sticks versus the color sticks. This new formula seems really in line with the previously well-known, well-loved BFF Creme Gel pencils, but it definitely has a long staying time. As far as these swatches went, I had to work a little harder to get them off of my arm, which is a good thing for when you're wearing them on your actual eyes. And I did put little stars next to all the new shades in these swatches. Hopefully they're not too small, but I'm going to list everything out in the description box as well. And hopefully the video and description box can be a helpful resource for you as far as finishes and also which shades are new. Okay, that's it for the new releases. We're all caught up for ColourPop, at least for the next couple of days. Now I want to give you some bonus information about what I did when I had an allergic reaction around one of my eyes. That's the reason why I'm pretty convinced that this didn't have to do with any makeup product that I wore. First of all, I only had one of my eyes have this reaction. And it was the same eye that I mentioned a couple videos back that I got sunscreen in and my eye was really hurting. So I think it was a combination of that, and then I was really rubbing that eye because it was watering and hurting. And I think I irritated the skin around my eye so badly that I basically gave myself a allergic reaction. So I don't think any certain product caused it. It just sort of happened, an unfortunate series of events. But this is what I did just to be sure. And keep in mind, I am not a medical professional. I do not pretend to replace the advice of a medical professional. I worked for a long time in the field of ophthalmology, which is why I am so adamant about my eye safety warnings, and I always talk about those types of things and make a bigger deal out of it than probably a lot of other folks do. But if you have a problem with anything really, but especially with your eyes, if you have the ability, please see a doctor. Please listen to them. They know more. They can actually see you. They are the trusted source, not me. I'm just giving you kind of a rundown of what I did because I feel like this is relevant to everybody. If I had had a more severe allergic reaction, I had some redness, some raised bumps that were visible, and I had a lot of irritation and watering. Had I had a more severe reaction, I would have gone to the doctor too. And if I had suspected that this was some sort of eye infection, I would have immediately gone to the doctor. If that is the case for you, please see a medical professional. Now, here's what I did. I had a pretty good grasp on what the issue was, so I immediately stopped using makeup at all. I also really pared down my skincare routine and just tried to keep minimal contact on that area and use really, really gentle stuff, nothing fragranced, really just bare bones skincare, especially in that area. And if I had been using a lash serum or wearing contact lenses, I would have stopped that too. I know that those are expensive items, but if you have the ability to, I would just toss whatever you've already been using, trash it, and get a new one. I know some lash serums and contact lenses are incredibly expensive and hard to get a hold of. I don't say that lightly. I understand that that's not feasible for everybody, but that is what I personally would have done. I also had 2 different open tubes of mascara that I had been using recently, and I tossed both of those. Like I said, this wasn't an infection, but I was just being as absolutely strict and cautious and overly cautious as possible because that's what I do when it comes to eye health. So I tossed my 2 open mascaras, just opened a fresh tube that I will start using once I'm completely healed, which I think tomorrow I can go back to wearing makeup. I also took all of my brushes and immediately washed them. And any makeup that I had recently used, I cleaned the outside, so like wiped the packaging, and then I disinfected the actual product with alcohol. I'm sure there are plenty of great videos about how to do that. Makeup artists do it all the time. Definitely listen to them about that kind of stuff because that's where I learned how to do it. And then the last thing was probably the most difficult, and I'm speaking as somebody who has dozens of makeup brushes, trying to avoid touching, rubbing, wiping. I just really tried to leave it alone, let it heal, don't touch it, don't put stuff on it, just give it a clean, dry environment to heal. And I'm gonna be honest, there were 2 or 3 days there where I was very, very uncomfortable and miserable. I'm on the mend now. I actually feel back to normal today, but I'm going to give it until tomorrow before I put makeup back on just to be safe. Like I said, I am one of those overabundance of caution people, especially when it comes to my eye health. And I hope that this was helpful. Please take care of yourselves, value your health and your safety. That will always be more important than any makeup or any products or really any stuff. I hope none of this ever happens to you or, let alone anything any worse like an eye infection. But if it does, please take care of yourself, value your health, because it is way more important than any eyeliner will ever be. And just know that you deserve to take care of yourself and be happy and healthy and comfortable. And I really appreciate you watching, and I love your face so very much. I'll see you in the next one soon. Bye.